Hello, everybody. This is Daniel Stabler with another episode of Let's Get Nerdy. Look, I finished The Long Road for Mercy, and it was a stupid ending book, but it's a good story. And the truth is, the reason I don't like it is because in fiction, we can tend to get outrageous, outlandish endings, or just stories in general. But typically, those far-reaching ends tend to be more like in fantasy, sci-fi, just something supernatural, outside of the norm. When it comes to the genre I prefer to read, which are thrillers, crime thrillers to be exact, that is not usually a far-fetched, complete, yeah, you're dreaming on that one ending. Long Road to Mercy was. The ending to that was ridiculous. But it was a fun story to read. I just say it's a bit ridiculous because it's a whole conspiracy type thing, and like one FBI agent just brings it all down and scares the poop out of our government. Well, yeah. Just don't think that's going to happen. But at the same time, as a person that does believe in conspiracies, or at least what the liberals like to deem conspiracy, I'm not it wouldn't surprise me one bit if Hillary Clinton does actually have a closet full of bodies. That wouldn't shock me, right? That's one of those conspiracies out there that's probably true. Anyway, going back to that. So, I finished it, and it's a worth it read. It's by David Baldacci. And if you like crime thrillers, if you like reading about FBI agents solving cases, go for it. It's a good read. I know my sister enjoys him as an author. But I started a new one, and my gosh, I'm liking it so far. It's still a crime thriller, but it's not based around a detective, at least not yet. It's based around a character who is suspected to be killer or murdered people in the past, and right now that's all it's going based on him, and it's really exciting. I can't remember her name, the author's name. She has 3 other books. This one's called The Survivors. I'm really digging it so far, but again, my favorite is crime thrillers, and this is exactly going in that direction. Another thing I like about it so far is the worst as far as language is concerned is the S word. I prefer none, but realistically, if you're reading a secular novel, that's not gonna happen. And this is secular, so there's that. I haven't read a lot of Christian fiction lately. I want to get some. I actually have found some books that fit in my genre that I like, that are written by Christians, or supposed to be written by a Christian. So I will hopefully get into that. But right now, Lee Child has a new one out that I really want. And this story is just unique. It's based in Australia. survivors, based in Australia, off of like a little island off the mainland, as they call it. But a tourist, so to speak, is murdered, and friends of that girl and people that knew that girl by association are kind of like, uh-oh, who could this have been? Oh, turns out it could be this guy. I don't want to give away more than that, but that's because that's where I'm at, and man, it's exciting. I always love that. But you gotta be willing to go with something new, and since this isn't a detective novel, but it still evolves around a crime, it's really neat. And the reason I like those so much, I think, is because of the realism. It's more realistic. There's not anything wrong with the fantasy stuff. I mean, as a kid, growing up, I like the Harry Potter books. Shout out to J.K. Rowling, who I hope is becoming a Christian. I know she's claimed to be an atheist, but I want to shout her out, because the more and more that she realizes just the idiocy, the hypocrisy from the American left, well, and then her also needing to try and squash some things from, unfortunately, one of my favorite actresses, and Emma Watson, and she kind of needed it though. She needed that little pop, and J.K. Rowling gave it to her. But anyways, those were some of my favorite books. Still are, actually. I'd love to reread them. I sold them like over a decade ago to Half Price Books so that I could make a little money. Made a bad decision. Well, not really a bad decision, but just didn't lean on God, and I should have. But this was a little over a decade ago. It's past. But anyways, yep. Wanted to give an update. There's some things in the news, but maybe in another video I'll cover that, because to be honest, some of it's annoying. But yeah, that's it. And I mean, again, go and check out these books. That video I made last time, Soul's Gate, check that out. It is fantastic. I need to get the other two. I really do. I need to get them, because they made me think about Scripture a little bit more deeply. Even though it's a fictional story, I think that was probably the author's end goal, was to get us to think a little more deeply, and about Scripture, anyways. And I could be wrong, but it was just that fascinating. So when you pick this up and you start to read it, and you get some of the ideas that he's putting down in the book, and then you read the scriptures that he's quoting, and you go, huh, he's got a point. So please check out Soul's Gate. Any of the others I recommend. I may end up doing like a list of Christian authors I enjoy. Frank Peretti, who doesn't? If you're a Christian, you don't know who Frank Peretti is, I'm sorry. Because fantastic. But anyway, thanks for watching. God bless. Hit like, subscribe, all that good nonsense, things to help push the algorithms, especially for people who also want to see this kind of stuff. Also want to see a conservative author, because there are so many liberal authors out there right now that it might be a refresher. God bless. Thanks for watching. This is Daniel Stabler. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell if you want more notifications. God bless, and have a wonderful time and day.